This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Kicking off hour 2 here on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158. Stormy Bonatoni, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. This segment presented by Upside. Download the free Upside app today. Earn real cash back every time you fill up your gas tank, plus the promo code SPORTS. Download the app, type that in. You'll get 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank as well. All right, you've been keeping tabs on all of these live games. Wisconsin up early, 10-9. You laid the 4.5, and rumor has it people.
Took 4.5.
Oh, sorry, you took 4.5, and rumor has it there's some people on social media that joined you.
Yes. So I presented that to you, and you said, nope, not doing that. Torch said, I'll take Wisconsin plus 4.5 first half with you. John felt bad after Stormy totally abandoned you on that one.
I didn't say nope, not following you ever.
I think. Well, I didn't say ever. I'm just saying. You just said nope. No,
I
shot.
can't bet everything JVT bets. We have to have our own minds and own thoughts, right? I'm rooting
we're
for
here
you.
together for the next hour and a half or hour, so figured you might as well get something in, but I guess not.
I'm rooting for you. I support you, but I can't do it all. Just like I couldn't do UNLV yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah,
so there's
you
you win some, you lose.
Okay,
You're on such a
Appreciate
heater
it.
in other sports. I can give you one.
Don't say that. 6-0 run here for Illinois. Wisconsin was up 10-5. They had hit their first 4 attempts. They have since cooled down. So Illinois up on top by a point here in the first half.
See, I can't insult you and I can't compliment you, so it's a real lose-lose for me.
Well, it's just
Meanwhile,
bad juju. You can't point
will
that
it
out.
be a lose for UAB? We're down to a 3-point game right now. 7.8 seconds to go. How is this thing going to play out?
We'll say, so what's the scenario? I know the points, but who's got the ball?
So UAB's not going to be able to cover. In terms of who has the ball right now.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, that obviously matters. 3-point game, 7.8. I would assume, judging by that replay, that we're going to have Charlotte in possession with less than 8 seconds left. So now this is just a free throw game, whether or not you can get the 49ers to miss some free throws here. So I'm going to assume, given the scenario, that Charlotte's going to be able to pull this off if they do indeed have possession here with just under 8 seconds left.
Man, what
They're
a
up by
time
3.
to be alive. We'll preview a few more games here in a little bit. We'll also have best bets heading into the weekend at the end of the hour. Reed Fowler still to come in about 15 minutes as well. Former PGA Tour live broadcaster. Going to get some live betting angles for the Players' Championship that's going on right now. And maybe Xander Schauffele playing off of the SDSU positive vibes from the win yesterday because he shot 7 under today, 10 under now for the tournament. So things are looking up.
Do you think he watched? Do you think he cared?
I think he cared. Do I think he watched? No. Do I think he cared? Yes.
Will he watch tonight?
He pulled up the scoreboard.
Will he watch
He's got to
tonight?
go to bed
Unlike
early.
you.
He's got an early morning. Can't do it.
You and him
Let him
both.
live. Zach Cohen also in 30 minutes. We're going to break down the NBA card going into today, which is actually where we're going to kick off this hour here real quickly. Relatively weak slate, I think fair to say. Lots of big favorites against bad teams, but that's actually been a pretty profitable position for those of us here at the network that have been putting together some of these money line parlays against the lesser than teams. Plenty of options in that arena today. We've got, even though what was I going to say? Whatever. The Grizzlies are taking on the Pistons
I'm not the
today.
only one malfunctioning today.
Listen,
That's good.
it happens. I say this all the time that we speak for a living, and just like in day-to-day life, when you're talking to your friends or you walk into a room and you lose your train of thought or forget what you were going into the room for, that's going to happen every now and then here. So apologies. But we do have the Grizzlies at the Pistons tonight, the Pacers hosting the Knicks, the Mavericks facing the Cavaliers, Trailblazers and the Jazz going head-to-head, your Clippers taking on the lowly Bulls. So a handful of options, like I said. If you had to pick a handful of those, what would you want to throw in the parlay?
I mean, I think you're taking most of them, aren't you? If you're
If
putting
not all.
if you're putting the parlay together, I think the one that I guess maybe you would have some trepidation with would be the New York Knicks. Do you fully trust them? But
the Pacers have been so lit.
yeah, right. So it's like for the Knicks, it's one of those teams that reputation does not really translate to where they've been in terms of their actual statistical returns. You also have to you also have to realize that Karl Anthony Towns is questionable or doubtful to play today, as is Josh Hart. So it kind of puts you in that mix of, all right, you're going to be laying or including this favorite. By the way, Charlotte's going to win this game 83-78.
All right.
So you're going to include this favorite on your money line parlay, but they might be down or will be down 2 key pieces in Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns on the road against the Indiana Pacers. We'll see if Andrew Nembhard plays. Well, Pascal Siakam will not, but that's just a tricky spot to be in if you're the New York Knicks. So current number right now, I know our screen says 13.5. I've got 7.5 in front of me. What is the accurate number? I believe 7.5 is probably the accurate one for New York, considering the doubtfuls for both Hart and Carl.
No, I have 13.5 on DraftKings
All right,
right
so
now.
then my screen is not updating at all. Thank you very much. Sorry, crew. I did not mean to insult you in any way, shape, or form. Either way, I think you're maybe a little cautious there, but for the most part, I think you're probably comfortable putting these together if you've been playing them consistently like you have.
Okay. Might have to go back to the well. We can double down and ask Zach Cohen about this a little bit later.
No.
We're just going to fire? Okay.
So what do we got here?
So
it's Friday night. What do we got going on?
It's Pistons.
Okay.
It's Knicks.
Yep.
Cavs.
Yep.
Blazers.
Let's see if we find the Blazers. Okay.
Clippers.
And the Clippers. I mean, we know the Clippers are going to get it done.
Obviously.
That's ridiculous. I can't do that. What do you get? What's your payout?
What
do
is
you
it?
got?
I was just writing it down. I don't have my app up
I'm
right
looking
now.
at about minus 155.
Shut up. Okay. So, yeah, add
that's
USA
a good point.
Baseball.
Add our World Baseball Classic. So there you go. I mean,
okay, so pull up the WBC. What's add USA and
this is getting ridiculous.
and the DR. Just tell me what the number is.
All right, let me put it together. Hold on, I closed my thing. All right, let me
We
pull
try
up
to be
baseball.
a fun program here, okay?
I know somebody out there. So let's see. Put those two on there. It's minus 101.
It's still not even. It's
Again, it depends on where you shop.
okay.
I'm looking at just one
I'm
shop.
gonna look around. Let me see if your girl can get
So
even money or better on that.
So
We gotta get plus money somewhere.
money line parlay.
Where is that, Justin? Caesar's plus 108.
So
you have to
plus
do
108
not
to
do
even
it if
money.
you can't get at least better than even money. But
It's a little ridiculous.
if you want to have a little fun, I had a 5-legger yesterday that paid out even money, but it cashed. It's like these teams have just been so profitable to fade. I think it's just have a little fun, live a little.
What's the biggest hockey favorite today?
Neither one of them are big favorites. I think Edmonton's minus 155.
Come on now.
Not worth
Let's get a
it.
little spicy here.
No, you want to put your hard-earned money on the Oilers, you do that. We do have a decently good game though in Suns at Raptors, two teams in the playoff picture. No,
I thought you were going somewhere else. Come on now. The Los Angeles Clippers. We've talked about them from a money line standpoint, but they've been bet up from 11 to 13.5. They're at home here against Chicago. The Clippers continue to be one of the best bet-on teams in the association in recent memory. You look at the run that they have been on here. They get the win in the cover against the Minnesota Timberwolves. You stretch that thing out. Talk about a team that has won covered 7 out of their last 9 games. And even better, 13 out of their last 15. This team has been absolutely on fire. Can they get this done here again today? And straight up results, they've won 6 out of the last 7. We talked about the history that they just made the other day, getting to above 500.
Okay.
First team in NBA history to get to above 500 after being down by more than 15 games in terms of their record under 500. Clippers injury report 2, relatively clean. Darius Garland is not going to play due to injury management. Everybody else is going to be available. And the reason why I bring this up, your Chicago Bulls, your team, who you have been committed to playing against. You did it in one form yesterday. Should have faded them. They didn't cover as 11.5 point dogs.
Luka with 51.
Yep. What are we doing here? Come on now. You going to play them? Wow,
So it's just such a big number. Like that's my issue. Is
You
I
can't
like
come out and say
know.
you're firing against.
But can we talk about what happened the minute I made that statement? They covered like 3 of 4 and were winning games outright. So
That's very true.
I don't want to lose money either. 13.5 just feels like a lot. I like when they're sub double digits so that you get like a better opportunity.
20 to
I don't
3.
hate it, though. I think the Clippers should dominate. They should dominate them.
They should.
I want to ask you on the flip side of that, though, since you just watched that Clippers-Timberwolves game so closely.
Oh, buddy.
Minnesota's laying 6.5 today in Golden State.
Can't trust them.
They've dropped 3 straight now after that last run. But, yeah, Golden State, too, a hard team to trust. Don't know what to make of them. They lose to the Bulls and the Jazz, but then cover against the Thunder and beat the Rockets as a double-digit dog. So, like, what are they, especially without Steph Curry, for yet another week and a half at least?
I'll say it 1,000 times over with this Minnesota Timberwolves team. By the way, 23-3 run for Illinois. I don't think I'm going to get this first half. That was a sweat that died pretty quickly. The Timberwolves they continue to be the most overrated team in the sense of the betting market. They are now 27-39 against the spread. They have been awful against the number. If you look at the stretch that they are currently on, having failed to cover these last 3 games, of course, because they lost all 3, in terms of, or excuse me, as a favorite of all of them except for one, they were a small underdog against the Los Angeles Clippers. You zoom out even further, and they have failed to cover 8 out of their last 11. They have been a team that you cannot trust from a betting standpoint day to day. They have been power rated too high. Now, maybe they're going to come out and cover this number against the Golden State Warriors. Who knows? But the market has been very high on Minnesota, and the results have not been there. They've been wildly inconsistent. I mean, just look at the stretch they're on. They win 5 straight, then they come back and they lose 5 straight against some beatable competition in Orlando and the 2 LA teams. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this Timberwolves team other than actually play against them, considering how bad they have been in terms of covering the number.
Again, 6.5, that spread, total 223.5. We do have a couple games in college hoops that are going to tip off in a little bit. I don't have anything in this Conference USA tilt between Kennesaw State and Sam Houston, but Sam Houston laying 2.5, total 159.5. Also, North Texas and Tulsa. Tulsa laying 8.5 points, total 141.5 in the American quarterfinal. And when we come back, we will do a little preview, as we will also discuss with Reed Fowler, but Tennessee and Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament, that's getting underway in about 20 minutes. We got to play from Will Hill on that game as well. Do we agree? We will hit on that in just a little bit. Reminder, saving money at the gas tank is easier than ever. Gas pump, that is. In your gas tank, easier than ever. When you've got the Upside app, you can download it for free today. And when you use the promo code SPORTS, you get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Drivers are seeing $200 to $300 a year just from their normal commute. Takes seconds to use. You can cash out anytime to your bank account or gift cards. Download the free Upside app today. Again, that promo code SPORTS. Offers vary by user and location. Visit upside.com for details. And okay, Wisconsin pulling a little bit back here.
No.
2028. Why are you saying no? There's 7 minutes to go.
They're cooked. They were up 10-5, gave up a 23-3 run. I guess you're right. They're getting back into it a little bit. And the way they shoot the ball in terms of the volume and how good they can be from beyond the arc, you can probably cut back into it pretty quickly. But obviously with a first half bet, I would want more possessions to see if they can get that done, and I might be running out of runway.
Spread still in the balance as well in this Kentucky-Florida game. Florida up 58-46 with about 5:30 to go. Florida closed an 11.5-point favorite, I want to say. So we will touch on that, keeping tabs on everything as we go here. But when we come back, excited to have Reed Fowler join the program, get some live betting angles on that Players' Championship, and see if he believes in my boy, Xander Schauffele, and more.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. It's March, which means the madness is officially upon us, and the folks at VSiN have really gone crazy with this one. I'm being told that for just $29.99, you can get unlimited access to VSiN Pro through May 1st. I'm talking picks through the tournament, public betting data for every single game, plus sharp tools, projections, articles, and more. But here's the thing. There's already a ton up on the site for Champ Week, which means every day you wait is an opportunity missed. Just click the link in the description to get started. It's March, baby. All right, now back to the show.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM, Channel 158. Stormy Bonantoni, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Excited to have our good friend Reed Fowler join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. News and sports anchor over at ABC Hawaii, former PGA Tour live broadcaster. Also did a lot of work with DraftKings, so speaks our betting language fluently. And I got to start with this because I'm just so dang excited about it, Reed. My guy, Xander Schauffele, SDSU alum, my alma mater. He's at the top of the leaderboard right now. Had an awesome second round, shooting 7 under, 10 under now for the tournament. He is our favorite now on the board to close this thing out, plus 270 in the live outright market. Are we to believe what we are seeing? What is your level of faith that he can hang on to this thing or continue to perform at a high level at TPC Sawgrass?
Yeah, Stormy, pleasure to be here with you guys right now. And Xander is one of those things. And look, if you're not new to betting, either as a listener or an avid bettor yourself, you do these things where you're like, dang, I looked at Xander Schauffele, circled, highlighted, starred, whatever you want to say, but he's one of my final cuts. And now you look at it like 7 under today, 10 under for the tournament. How can you not, right? How can you not, for this major winner in Xander Schauffele, feel comfortable when a course like TPC Sawgrass doesn't lend itself to any one particular player? Having said that, Xander has all the tools in the proverbial toolbox, right? He's great around the greens, great on the greens. His hits it far and is elite with his irons. It's coming together. You saw it today, and you saw the benefit of going out early, right? The ground saturated. We knew that it rained yesterday. There was a minor rain delay, but now he's doing real well. The afternoon wave guys, not doing as hot as the morning wave. So, yeah, I'm there to believe that the X-Man can close it again.
Reed, how far down the leaderboard would you go if you're trying to play on some of these adjusted futures to win this tournament? Given the way that this course scores, how far back do you think it's realistic for a dude to come back and potentially win this thing?
Well, so JVT, you talk about what Xander has done in his past, right? Again, not the same course, so it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but we've known a guy like Xander to go nuclear on a Sunday, right? We saw it at the Tournament of Champions a while back when he shot close to one of the record scores there. Now, having said that, this is an interesting question. I love that you brought it up because you see there Scottie Scheffler at plus 2,700 or 27-1. That is tempting. Right, he is very far back. I believe the last time I checked, Scotty, he's at even par right now through 6 in his second round. Hasn't been there for a while, right? We've known that the swing does feel a little off for Scotty right now, but I would not be surprised, guys, if someone like a Scotty on the back 9 just shoots 6 under, and then he's 4 back of Xander right now. Do we know where that number is going to land after day 2 of who's going to be leading? We don't know yet, but it's probably going to be around that number, that low double-digit number. If Scotty shoots 5 or 6 under, we've seen him come back in a matter of a front 9 where he goes absolutely bonkers in terms of that. And we know the weather conditions are supposed to lighten up over the weekend. 2,700, if you get a crooked number, Stormy, in front of Scotty, it is tough to lay off someone who can just, again, like I mentioned, turn it on a dime. I know he hasn't been playing well, but that's as low or as long as I would go because we know the pedigree with Scotty. Obviously, we know what he can do as the number 1 golfer in the world.
Yeah, and I'm actually seeing at DraftKings right now, there's an available 32-1 on him live, but you said it, even par so far through 6, shot opening round 72 as well. And listen, the weather doesn't bother him too much because you saw him out there trying to get back on the range in the pouring rain last night.
And even Barry Sanders, right? The great Barry Sanders also tweeted at like that reminds him of putting in the work, right? Barry, he gets asked, and I think in his tweet or in his post, he said he gets asked what his favorite or most memorable TD was, and he can't remember. He just remembers the work. And it's nice to see that, right? Look, these golfers, they get pampered every which way and twice on a Sunday, right? Their lives are, in terms of, in comparison to the regular plebes like us, Stormy, who, if it's raining, we're not going out. But, it's nice to see that the number 1 golfer is putting in the work. We know that he's struggling, and by his standard, right, he hasn't been playing well at all. So it's nice to see that, and, game recognizes game. You got the great Barry Sanders also shouting out Scotty. I love to see that that number 20, though, watching some golf at TPC.
So what kind of when you're talking about just like basic regression, it doesn't even have to be specific for this course, but what are you looking for, Reed, statistically? Are we looking for a really big number on strokes gained putting? Are we looking at a massive number on tee to green that would probably regress? What is what you're looking for that would scream unsustainable for a guy that's off to a good start in a tournament like this?
Yeah, great question, JVT. Great question. When you look at in terms of regression, right, you got to kind of, it's 2 parts, multifaceted. For this type of tournament specifically, when the cream rises to the top, right? You got Oberg there, you got Xander, obviously Cam Young. Russell Henley has been playing great. We know what he's been doing of recent. Corey Connors, one of the best ball strikers that we have on tour. Victor Hovland as well. So you got a lot of pedigree at the top. And so when you look at regression in terms of how to bet it, right, is you want someone that is doing well with his irons and is just didn't make those putts on day 1. And that's what Xander was. If you saw Xander on Thursday, guy was hitting it close, but just could not make the putts, missing 4-footers that if those were to fall today, like they did, you're getting that decent number. And so in general, you want guys who are hitting it well with their approach, but maybe they're down a strokes gained putting, right? That can switch day to day, week to week very easily, as opposed to the other way around, trying to get someone who doesn't have their irons or off the tee game right, who's making all the putts, right? And that could revert the other way where they're missing the putts that they're making, but their ball striking isn't great. For this specific tournament, though, when we're talking about Sawgrass, we're talking about the players, this is one where I'm not looking too far down of someone who doesn't have pedigree to win this tournament. So it's twofold. I want the strokes gained approach to be there. Maybe the putting was a little off, but I want someone like a Scotty. You got Tommy Fleetwood there at around that 30-1 number that has the ability, JT as well, Matt Fitzpatrick, guys that have been there. Akshay is not someone that I would bet, but someone that has won of recent who has that pedigree along with the numbers that are supporting that putting could change drastically from round to round, which it can very easily on the PGA Tour.
Reed, you're the man. Thank you so much for making time for us today. We appreciate you.
Guys, take care. Have a good weekend.
Reed Fowler, everybody. Again, doing great work over there at ABC Hawaii. And we are keeping tabs on all of the conference tournament action right now, where the Wisconsin Badgers just went on a 12-0 run to bring this thing back to within 3 in the first half. JVT's losing his mind in cover territory, taking the 4.5 with Wisconsin here.
I think Stojakovic here on the free throw line, he actually missed his previous 2. Then Illinois got an offensive rebound, and they still couldn't get a bucket out of it. So their offense has really hit a roadblock here. And he is going to miss. Okay, he's got that one. So we'll see. Okay. That breaks the 12-0 run that you mentioned. And you said it's a game of runs. They threw it up. I don't know if you saw the graphic, but we know that Wisconsin started out 10-5. Then there was a 23-3 run. And then there was a 12-0 run. So I think it's pretty fitting for the way these two teams play.
Kentucky on an 8-0 run as well. They were down as many as 17 in this game to Florida, now trailing by just 6, down 62-56, 2:45 here to go. And so we went from Florida laying, 15, 16 and a half on the live line. They closed an 11.5 point favorite to now being a potential upset watch if Kentucky can do something special.
Yeah, these turnovers are killing them. So they've got 18 turnovers so far in the game, I believe. Boogie Fland is in the middle of quite a few of those. We saw about a possession or two ago, he gets called for a charge at midcourt, and then right now just gets the ball slapped out of his hands, and I believe is called for a foul as he tries to recover it. So, no, they're not going to call that foul. Okay, so this is not going to be a turnover, but still, Fland and Florida have been very loose with the ball so far here, and that's allowed Kentucky to get back into this thing.
Once this game is over, they'll have the little clearing on the court and everything. Then out will come Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We talked about this game a little bit earlier with VSiN's own Will Hill, which, good reminder, if you missed any of that segment, you can always download Money Moves wherever you get your podcasts each and every day. Listen on your own time. Hear Will's thoughts there straight from the horse. But Commodores have been they were a really strong team at the beginning of the season, fell off a little bit in SEC play. Just beat Tennessee, though, in Knoxville to close out the regular season, despite being a 3.5 point dog. They're getting 1.5 today. Total bet down from 149.5 to 147.5 after the Vols obviously had to rally to beat Auburn yesterday. Yeah. What do you make of this number for Vanderbilt against Tennessee?
Yeah, the last game that Vandy played, at least, it was against Tennessee. Yep. It was part of the My Circuit College Hoops Challenge card over the weekend. I'd still lean a little bit toward Vanderbilt. Look, I hate this Tennessee offense. We've said it a bunch of times. They've been awful. Not to denigrate the wonderful sport of hockey, but they're a hockey team on wood. They dump, they chase, they try to get offensive rebounds, and it's just not working. And against a team like Vandy, who at least has a pretty good defense, they're 4th best in the SEC. They lead the SEC in defensive turnover rate. They should be able to get it done here. They're not the best rebounding team, so in a game of margins like this, where it's a 1.5 point spread, you can't keep them off the offensive glass. It's going to make a pretty big difference. But I just so despise the way Tennessee plays offense that I would rather back a team that I at least think has some semblance of a chance to operate in a half-court setting.
All right, Florida back on the board again, so up 64-56 right now, 2:30 to go. And Will Hill did agree with your sentiment, by the way. He took the 1.5 with the Commodores
Chris?
Today. Yeah, that's.
I don't know why I called him that. I don't even know who I was thinking.
You're talking to Chris Macero so much, he's just constantly on the mind. Or it could be my husband, too. You're texting him about different workout stuff. But how about Zach? Coming up next, we're going to have our own Zach Cohen on the program, talk through a little NBA, see if he agrees with our thought process on all of the parlays that everybody's been doing lately. Top of the board in the Players' Championship, though, as we rounded out that conversation with Reed Schauffele plus 260, Cam Young plus 425, Ludwig Oberg plus 490, and Corey Connors getting there to the double-digit odds plus 1225. We'll be right back.
Watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you, keeping tabs on all the conference tournament action right now. Your plus 4.5 with Wisconsin in the balance here with less than 90 seconds to go in the first half. How you feeling?
Not great after a missed free throw. So plus 4.5 and down by 5 right now. I would have liked that free throw here in the last less than 90 seconds. So we'll see if they can pull this off. I believe I could be correct here. Zach Cohen, who's about to join us on the Progressive Guest Line, has a tie to Wisconsin. Can I start here? Zach, am I misremembering?
Yeah, I went to Wisconsin, so I'm a huge Badger fan. Yeah, this is not a good situation with Nolan Winter being out for the lower body injury. It's like a very hockey way of putting it. So hopefully he's back for the tournament.
Do you bet on your teams or do you stay away from them? Do you do an emotional hedge? How do you feel when Wisconsin or any of your teams are in action?
Oh, this is going to be really depressing, but I bet on my teams, but Wisconsin, I do not, because it just always ends in heartbreak, no matter what it is. Like, this is the most like disturbing team to root for of all time. Like 2015, my friend, like me and my good friends, like we watched that game all the time against Duke, where we blew the 9-point lead in the second half, and just we'll never have another chance to win a national title. So that's just as close as it gets, and this team just really makes me upset.
Well, let's talk a little NBA. We will put you in better spirits back here. Zach joining us, by the way, on the Progressive Guest Line, senior editor here at VSiN, NBA analyst, host of Hardwood Handicappers, which I just pulled up the pod for today. And the title for Hardwood Handicappers,
Dunzo.
falls on 6. Yep. Boo. How to build an NBA parlay with tanking teams. And I know this has been kind of thematic at the network. You, Gil, Kelly, we've done it here on Money Moves as well. Not big money payouts, but these teams are winning. And there's a lot of options today. So what are you doing with it?
Yeah, it's something that like I definitely saw Gil doing first, and I just started to have FOMO because I know it was winning very early on, like just never lost. So I jumped on it. It's been a little bit profitable since I did. Definitely a few more losses since I joined the trade, but it is, a really good option for tonight because there's a lot of games. Not a lot of them are good, but there are 5 of them to kind of fall into this category. So Pistons versus Grizzlies, Knicks versus Pacers, Cavaliers versus Mavericks, Blazers versus Jazz, and Clippers versus Bulls. It's 5 teams. I got it at minus 145. Not exactly sure where it is now, but it really should be one that ends up cashing. These teams really are all in situations that I'd be really surprised if they lost. I know that Memphis does have a nice little rest advantage against Detroit, but Detroit's been the best team in the Eastern Conference all year.
I know we have some plays to get to, but to add to this topic really quickly, will you get ridiculous with it at all? Like we were talking earlier today about adding the 2 big favorites in the World Baseball Classic to the parlay. Will you do anything like that, or do you do strictly? Because, now we're getting to the territory of like 7-leg money line parlays, but will you mess with anything like that?
We're trying to get some plus money in here.
I have added teams outside of this. So like last night, I took the Pistons who were playing the Sixers. That was a game where the Pistons were 15.5-point favorites against a non-tanking team, but there was no Maxey, Embiid, or George. So it made a lot of sense to just throw them in. I probably should be looking to add, outside of the NBA. Maybe I'll start to look into college basketball to add to these parlays. But yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world to try to find some plus money. It is a little depressing when you sweat out 5 games and you've just won like 1 unit. So it's definitely something that I should be considering. Last night was especially terrible with Orlando going to overtime against Washington. And just, you end up with just 1 unit in the account.
Well, let's get to some games that, at least on paper, have a little more intrigue, starting with the Suns and Raptors. Toronto laying 4.5 at home. Total 218.5 right now. Suns, tough spot on the second half of back-to-back, but have covered in 3 straight, including as a big favorite yesterday against the Pacers. What do you make of this one against Toronto on the road?
Yeah, really tough spot for the Suns. I would not be looking to back Phoenix. If you're taking anything here, I'd probably be looking to lay the points of Toronto or throw the Raptors into a money line parlay. But I do think Jalen Green over 18.5 points at minus 118 is worth a look. Over the last 4 games, he's averaging 27.5 points per game. His usage rate is sky high in that span, 34.8%. And I think that there's maybe some concern that Grayson Allen's coming back tonight, but he's had 20-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games that he's played with Allen. Usage rate in those games, 29.9%. And Toronto, for like as good as they can be defensively, they are just 24th in the NBA guarding spot-ups, 21st in the NBA guarding in isolation, and 20th guarding pick-and-roll ball handlers. So there are ways to beat this team if you have the ball in your hands, and I think that Green will have that tonight. I also just kind of feel like he was ice cold when he came back from his groin injury, could not make a shot. Now we're getting like the positive regression where him and Booker just look unstoppable as a duo.
All right, let's go to New Orleans. So going back to March 3rd, and there was a ridiculous beat where they went out to Los Angeles, were in the number the whole time, then ended up blowing it. I think it was like a 27-7 run that they gave up to end the game. But I bring that up because, Zach, that's when I started to point to, hey, you know what? This team's going to be full and healthy, and they've got really nothing to play for except to get better. Maybe they're going to be a team worth betting on. Well, they have covered 4 straight since that game. Are we going back to the well here today?
Yeah, I think that the Pelicans are a really good play tonight. I got 7.5. There's still some 7s out there. I think that's where I would draw the line. I wouldn't play 6.5 or less. 7 is what I'd be looking to get. But yeah, it's a 3rd game in 4 nights for the Rockets. This Houston team has lost like 2 of its last 3 games by 25 plus points. Alperen Şengün is questionable with the lower back injury. I would be surprised if he's out there tonight. And the Pelicans are just as healthy as they've been pretty much all season. I mean, if you look at the injury report, there's nobody in the rotation listed as out for tonight. So they are very healthy. They've also been pretty good as an against the spread team against kind of good competition. 7-2 against the spread this year when facing opponents that out-rebound opponents by 3 or more rebounds per game. That's big against a Houston team that can hit the offensive glass. Also 12-3 against the spread when facing opponents that outscore their opponents by 3 or more points per game. So that's 12-3 against the spread, pretty much against like elite competition. I just think that this team has been pretty good against good teams under James Borrego, and this is also a really good rest spot for New Orleans. It's only their second game in 5 nights. They're 11-2 against the spread this season in that rest situation.
Yeah, compared to the Rockets 3rd and 4, so schedule advantage, New Orleans, absolutely. By the way, we have gone final out there at the SEC tournament. Florida beats Kentucky 71-63, so they win, do not cover that 11.5 despite being bet out pre-tip, and by leading by as many as 17 in this game. So good on Kentucky for making a little bit of a run there late. I know you don't have a bet in this Timberwolves-Warriors game, but JVT very pumped on how the Clippers dismantled Minnesota the other day. They're laying 6.5 in San Francisco, taking on this Warriors team. Anything here that stood out to you at least? And we know Golden State's been, I think, volatile to say the least is a fair way to put it.
I actually did add something for this game after doing the podcast, so maybe that's why it's on the website now, vsin.com. Brandon Podziemski over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -115. He's just averaging 30.2 combined points, rebounds, and assists over the last 9 games. And the reality is that with Steph Curry out, pretty much somebody's going to have to do something in terms of numbers. And Podziemski is a guy that might not be all that good, but he is very confident, and confidence goes a long way against this Timberwolves team because they do get up on you defensively. You have to be willing to kind of dribble the ball in the face of pressure, and Podziemski is. Also just like been so good as a rebounder lately, 8.4 rebounds per game over the last 10 games. So if he does a little bit offensively, this is a number that I really feel comfortable with him going over. And DeAnthony Melton, last I saw, was questionable. So could be another situation where Podziemski's really your only oddball, guy.
So how do we explain Minnesota at this point? Like, what the hell are they? They continue to be a very poor bet on team. ATS-wise, they're well below 500. They don't show up against certain opponents that are, I would assume, that we consider to be lesser than, but they still get power rated to the moon, Zach. What in the world do we do with Minnesota?
I wish I had an answer for you because it started off where they were playing well against very good teams and poorly against really bad teams, but now lately it's starting to be just bad against everyone. So I saw Chris Finch's press conference the other day. He said, we're not that far removed from playing really good basketball. I don't know what's been happening here, but it is a really weird situation because I know those players really like Chris Finch. I don't think that they've, given up on the coach or anything. I don't think Finch has lost the locker room, but this team is definitely struggling right now. I still believe they're a top 10 defensive team in the league. I still think that, putting the ball in Anthony Edwards' hands very often is going to do good things for them in the postseason, but they might just be a team that desperately needs the postseason to come. They just kind of need to turn the page to the playoffs. I think that they kind of have, I've said it before, but like almost a championship hangover, but they're not champions, but they've been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Maybe it's just these games are not doing it for them.
Great insight today, Zach. We appreciate it. And we will be rooting on your Badgers the rest of the way here.
Thank you.
Zach Cohen, everybody. Make sure check out Hardwood Handicappers wherever you get your podcasts. Again, on YouTube as well, and vsin.com. Zach has write-ups each and every day up there at the website, so make sure you check it out, not only for the NBA, but he's been doing a ton of stuff with these conference tournament previews as well along the way. Speaking of which, with it being conference tournament season, the NCAA tournament is upon us. Brackets are for everyone. We've got something special for those of you with a betting mindset. Introducing the VSiN March Betting Challenge presented by ProfitX and Edge Boost. Pick spreads and totals across all 67 tournament games. You can get points for every correct call and climb the leaderboard. The prizes are real. $2,000 for the overall champ, $1,000 for second, $500 for third, plus separate prizes for the best first and second half of the tournament. Over $6,000 total on the line. And here's the kicker. If you've got an Edge Boost account, every single prize doubles. It's completely free to enter, free to sign up. No reason not to play. Head over to vsin.com/contest. That's vsin.com/contest. Create your account. Get in the March Betting Challenge today. All right, when we come back, continuing to talk all things college hoops, we've got best bets going into tonight and how my alma mater won a game yesterday despite this astounding stat. Can they push it forward today? We'll be right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, everybody, we're locked and loaded on a busy conference tournament Friday as we welcome you back here to Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. How about North Texas, by the way? 14-0 run early to get things going here against Tulsa.
So I don't think this is the start Tulsa wanted.
I think that's a fair sentiment. So we're
Very
keeping
accurate.
tabs on all this. Dayton also up here in the second half, 42-41 in a close one with the Bonnies.
Broke the run.
Right as we said it. Maybe we're good luck for Tulsa today.
In game?
Who is the shorter seed and favorite in this game? Yeah, maybe if you think they can get back into this thing. North Texas, I think, was a 6 seed, I want to say. Tulsa, the 3 in this one.
Tulsa was a 7.5 point favorite at the close.
What are they now? 5.
I'll tell you right now. In 2 seconds, Stormy, as I pull this up, Tulsa currently is, why isn't this finding it? 1.5 point, it's like a pick. It's like 1.5 point
Okay.
favorite, but shaded to the dog side, but they're favored on the money line at minus 120. So, you can look around.
I wanted more. That said, before we get to the plays for
bet you they hit a
today,
3 here.
let's do a little housekeeping. That is so annoying about watching the boards sometimes.
I don't have any idea. You want to bet?
So no, it's so much quicker. Boom, boom goes the dynamite. Have you? What is that guy up to now? By the way.
Boom goes the dynamite guy?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I remember he was on Tosh.0 or something like that because he got one of those web redemptions.
Sure.
But I wonder if he's still in media today.
Pretty good show.
It was. I mean, what a freaking classic social media or like internet moment that
21
was.
years. We're coming up on 21 years ago.
God, good. Anyways, that's exactly what that moment felt like for Tulsa. Before we get to the best bets, though, let's do a little housekeeping. How we did yesterday, pushing it forward. I went 3-3 yesterday, covered with Seton Hall against Creighton. I do lean Seton Hall again today, getting 8.5 against St. John's, but nothing official there. The money line parlay comes through at even money with Suns, Magic, Hawks, Lakers, and Pistons. Waiting on that last leg, though, for the Lakers. Scoreboard watching in the first half, I was not liking what I was seeing, and then obviously they pulled away, so that was nice to see. Edmonton and Dallas over 6.5 comes through in a 7-2 Stars win. I already complained about that first period, both teams to score, bet not coming home. Neither did Columbus or Anaheim on the money line. Anaheim was up 3-1 midway through the second, let Toronto reel off 5 unanswered goals, so that was a little frustrating. And then Columbus deserved better. They were the more dominant offensive team all game, just couldn't get any shots through, eventually lost 2-1 in overtime. How about you?
Yesterday was, I believe, an O for yesterday. The UNLV side did not get there, and there was one more play. Nevada and Grand Canyon. You watched that game. You got a good one. That was a ton of fun. Yeah, under 137.5. So 0-2 in the Mountain West yesterday. I laid it with Arizona today, minus 3.5. That'll be the college basketball bet for later today.
What do you like about the Wildcats?
Like we've talked about, I mean, we've discussed their ability to hold on to the ball, not turn over the ball against an Iowa State team that's going to pressure them. They've got good ball handling. I like them better up front. I really am going to kind of steer into my belief of Lloyd and the Wildcats. I do think that they are fittingly one of the 3 best teams in the country. That's not saying anything crazy, but I still think that there is some trepidation about believing in Arizona as a title contender, given Lloyd's failings in the past, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're very, very good. So Arizona minus 3.5 today, and the belief will be there every round of the NCAA tournament as long as they're alive.
All right, just a couple plays for me today as well in the ACC. I did end up doing a play on Miami plus the 3. I'm of the belief that Virginia, despite being the number 10 ranked team in the country, a little bit fraudulent. They're in the 18 to 20 range for most of the analytics sites that we reference. Since January 17th, covered just 4 of 14 games, which included a 3-game no-cover streak prior to yesterday's win, where, yes, they win by the hook, but it's a matchup that has been favorable for them throughout the course of the season. I mean, look at some of the stuff for Virginia. They lay 14.5 at home to Wake, barely get by. Same thing laying double digits to Virginia Tech. This was a 7.5 point spread in the lone regular season meeting between these two. Miami did lose just by 3. I don't think this line is an over adjustment, though. They should play within that 3 number. Again, could be an upset money line candidate as well. Miami's playing good basketball, covering 4 of their last 5. So that's the side I'm on, plus the 3. And as I mentioned earlier, Toledo money line minus 142 against UMass in at least from a perception standpoint, should be a letdown spot after the big win that the Minutemen had yesterday against Miami of Ohio. I also referenced Toledo, just the performance that they had yesterday against Bowling Green. I know it was a tough one. They led by as many as 12. It ends up coming down to the wire in just a 1-point win, but I think they learned from that. See if they can put that into performance today. Prior to that was on a 3-game cover streak, covered 4 of the last 5, won straight up 5 of the last 6, lone loss by a possession to Miami of Ohio. So Toledo on the money line today, and then a couple plays. No, I just ended up doing one, huh? Yeah, just one firm play in the NHL on the short 2-game slate. Going back to the well on the over 6.5 for the Oilers taking on the Blues. We cashed on this yesterday, as we just referenced. Edmonton does that a lot. 13 of their last 14 games with 7+ combined scores now. Average 9.3 total goals per game in that span. Both teams on the second half of a back-to-back, maybe a little bit sloppy here, but I think we get some goals on both sides.
Man, I agree with your analysis, but right now they're talking to Greg Sankey on the college basketball show, and they were just showing the resumes between Auburn and Oklahoma and Miami, Ohio. I would love to hear what Sankey is saying right now. Trying to stump
we
for
need
Auburn
volume.
to get in. Yeah.
Get volume in here. Before we get out of here, because obviously you and I pay close attention to the Mountain West, and you said it, like we got to see a couple fun games yesterday. San Diego State gets the win and cover against Colorado State, which I know is to the chagrin of your 25-1 prop that you had in the tournament. But did you see enough from them yesterday, or what? I mean, it was ugly, right?
It was ugly. I mean, but I don't know. It wasn't like some sort of historic result that we've never seen in a conference tournament before, right?
We have seen it before, but it took 18 years. So listen to this from Matt Eisenberg. San Diego State shot 9.1% from 3 yesterday. They were 1 of 11. 52.4% from the free throw line. 22 of 42 there to beat CSU eventually by 9. According to what he has looked up and what he has researched, they are the first team to shoot below 10% from 3 and sub 55% from the stripe and win a conference tournament since 2008.
That seems
wild.
Seems like the right result from last night then, right? Getting
Wild. You were sitting with me. Every time they'd throw up a 3, I was like, can we be done with this now?
Yeah.
You know it's not working. And they were eating up everything inside the paint, too. So why even continue that exercise?
Yeah, that was it was a pretty ugly game for both teams, too. I mean, Colorado State couldn't get a shot in the paint themselves. They just kept shooting from 3 and trying to get that done by eating it away at a larger portion as opposed to just trying to get inside or do something themselves. Look, I like this New Mexico team quite a bit. I would lean a little bit toward New Mexico. We've talked about the struggles of San Diego State all season with their offense, and then we saw it very much front and center last night against Colorado State. It's obviously a tight number. Total's 150.5, right? Is that as high as it is, right? Yeah, 150.5. I like New Mexico more than I like San Diego State, but nothing really strong here. I think it's probably priced right where it should be.
How about in the the first game of the two, Nevada and Utah State? The top seed Aggies laying 6.5, total 145.5 after Nevada had a pretty dominant performance yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, Utah State, when you look at their result from yesterday, I don't think you would argue it as a letdown, but did put a lot into that game against UNLV. Obviously,
and Utah State with the dominant performance, by the way, not Nevada, but go ahead.
And thinking that maybe coming off of a game like that too, and I don't know about fatigue necessarily, but this is going to be the third game in 3 days for Nevada. Utah State just played yesterday, and that's it, obviously having the bye. So maybe there's something to it, although you could argue Nevada's first-round opponent was kind of a bye, considering the Air Force had 10 points at halftime. And
so disappointing, too, after we had the whole, styles make fights type of thing, and, maybe this could be a bad matchup just because of the way that UNLV performed against them in the regular season, and then we get that.
The Aggies crushed them. I mean, and it's worth pointing out here, too, because we're up to 6.5. I don't think the market is doing this. Projections are a little bit higher than what we're seeing, or a little bit lower than what we're seeing in the market. Utah State might have a mini home court advantage. I mean, you were sitting out there. It is a large contingent of Utah State folks out there.
They got their gloves on.
Yeah, they wear the latex gloves so that the claps are louder whenever which is, as you put it, science, I believe. So
science.
It's right. So I would
because we were asking, they're
wearing
wearing all these purple gloves, and I'm just like
the latex
what's
surgical
the purpose
gloves,
of the gloves?
or not the surgical, you wear around the house when you're cleaning or something like that. But yeah, apparently the plastic, so when you clap, it's a lot louder. The snap is there.
Yeah, the media, none too pleased, by the way, of their location. It appears being set right behind the basket, in between both of the the student section and the big fan base sides for Utah State yesterday.
Yeah.
Does that continue? Is that
yeah, for sure.
That's
not
where all
go
those
anywhere.
tickets are again today.
Absolutely.
Anybody going to complain about it?
San Diego State beat writer potentially is going to have a meltdown about it.
What? San Diego State complaining about something? Shocking.
Get out of here.
Never seen that in my life.
Eliminated.
Don't. Why? Why even do that? I was very annoyed by Lobo fans yesterday.
Why?
It's at the end of the game, and they're doing their, like, everyone's a Lobo, woof, woof, woof crap at the end. And it's like, this isn't about you,
We're even
okay?
playing.
You'll have your turn.
Yep.
You'll have your turn. Get out of here. That said, I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope you cash some tickets. This week, having all of this conference tournament action was so much fun. Reminder, JVT is going to be back on the air on Sunday as we kick off Sharp Week. You want to tell people what you're going to be doing with Tim?
Tim and I will be on 4 hours for Selection Sunday, leading up to the bracket reveal and subsequently all the lines being posted as well. So it'll be a ton of fun. I don't remember what time I'm on. I think it's 1 o'clock.
It's 4 hours. I do know that.
Yeah. So I think it's, don't quote me on it. We're just here on Selection Sunday, me and Tim.
It is cool, though. In our
Tim and I.
weekly meeting, one of our fearless leaders, Bill Adey, was talking about how Johnny Bello over at DraftKings has said the minute these matchups are announced, DraftKings should have numbers up within like 15 seconds. So you guys are going to have very, very instantaneous reaction to all of that. See if you can capitalize on some good numbers. Have a great day, everybody. Good luck with the bets. Keep it locked right here. Follow the money with Mitch and Paul coming up.